Topic of the day on UBC.
He expected me to die like within the first 2 years.
Out of the blue, the child will get pains, especially in the wrists. And this happens commonly when children are starting to walk.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
In all these years, we emphasize 2 words, wealth and jobs, and we try to waken our people up to show them where wealth and jobs come from.
The Parish Development Model, PDM, is a bold initiative that is reshaping Uganda's rural economy. By allocating 100 million shillings to each parish annually, PDM empowers households by unlocking opportunities for wealth creation.
This program will be maintained. Each year we send 100 million for the parish. If you get the 1 million, you can buy some goats, you can buy some pigs, you can buy even young cows.
Farmers are transitioning from subsistence farming to commercial agriculture, laying the groundwork for wealth creation and improved livelihoods.
This project started 11 years ago after an inspiration from His Excellency. And that time I was working as a taxi driver. I was doing that Masao business in Soroti. and he was talking about how to improve household income.
With the PDM, you bring back the money after 24 months. But in the third year, you would get another 100 million paid back by those who got first.
The president's message is a mindset changer. Becoming rich does not mean you should have a lot of land, you should have a lot of education, you just need a vision and implement and start from where you are.
So therefore, this PDM is to get all of you out of poverty. That's why we said 100 million per parish per year.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the Parish Development Model, PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The Parish Development Model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Mukoke Fish Farmers Association tuli balunzi ba byananda ebyebika ebisatu omuli mirakap, tilapia oba engege ni catfish tetwete male. Group eno twatandika twali abantu basatu nga tulingirira obwetaavu obw'ebyenanda oba obwiva n'okubona nti tufuna okasente akava mu maadi agali gatambula butambule nga gatubita ku wano ng'ekirabo. Twatandika ni fish pond ndala mu mwaka gw'e2018. Twebaza fisheries officer ni district ya Bugiri babanga batulagirira ku Sani Fish Farm ebwikwe inside day ndeyo twabanga tusobola okufuna kwetusaako obugege obwasooka era mu mwaka ogwali 2020 awo basobola okubanga batuwaayo ebyenanda emitwalo $40 okuva mu operation Werese Creation era okuba yongerezaako emmere yatuweebwa okuva Uganda Poultry Breeders. Twasobola okubanga tusoloza akasente akawerera obukayire nga 42. Twasobola okubanga tubuinvestinga oba okubona nti twongerezaako ku bimu ku bintu bye tukola gano bebaza gavumenti yaife okubanga buli saawa efaayo okubanga efe eri Abannayuganda.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala,
This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Good morning, Uganda. It is the Extra, and you are watching UBC TV, Inspiring Uganda. We come to you live from the Nile Avenue. My name is Julie F. Nantaba. This morning, we are looking at human trafficking, but leading to the World Human Trafficking Day 2026. Now, did you know that in Uganda, Uganda stands at an 80% to 90% statistic of human trafficking, and this is in consideration of children and the youth, children below the age of 18. Now that is dire, and that's why it's important that we have conversations such as this. In studio with me, I do have important guests to speak into this matter. Monica Katambira Chamazima, Country Director, Willow International. She is also the Vice Chairperson, Coalition Against Trafficking in Persons for Uganda. I also do have Memory Rukuna, who is the Liaison Officer, Coordination of Prevention of Trafficking in Persons, that is at the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Be part of the this conversation, because at the end of the day, any of us can be a victim. Any one of us is very, very susceptible to human trafficking. 0709-602-592. A very good morning to you, my guests. I'll start with Rukuna here. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, our hosts here on UBC TV. We are privileged to be here on this program, especially on this important day of the World Day Against Trafficking in Persons.
It's a pleasure having you. Monica, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having us. We're very glad to be here and spread more light on what is happening in our country and in our region.
Right. It's a pleasure indeed having you. And I'll start with you, Monica, for purposes of context and to our viewer. What exactly is human trafficking?
Human trafficking is, at its core, it is exploitation of human beings. We are faced with a situation where we have other people benefiting or gaining profit from the abuse or misuse of their fellow human beings. It can be through various avenues. The most common are forced labor, sexual exploitation, child labor, the use of children in armed conflict, forced begging, having people's organs harvested for, let's say, trade. But at the end of the day, human trafficking is the exploitation of one human being by another through means such as force, deceit, abuse of power and authority, abduction, and other such means. One of the things our Prevention Against Trafficking in Persons Act Uganda emphasizes on defining human trafficking is that even if a person seems to consent, especially when it is a child, that consent is invalid. Many times we see people who have been exploited, and the defense is they consented, they wanted to do this. But our law actually invalidates consent where a person has been exploited. Yes.
Just to stay there, especially in line with consent, we see domestic human trafficking as one of the biggest culprits that most of us commit even without knowing. Recently, we were having this conversation on air with my co-host, my partner in crime here, Robert Chiramunyonyitono, and we actually realized that we all play a role in some form of shape, and we do not know. Ladies in their homes always seek out for younger girls to work as helps. And these young girls are delivered freely by their families. They come work and they are okay because, of course, they are young, they are immature, they're just there to work. But we also see children who are selling, say, maize or eggs. Not that they're selling it with their parents, but there are those who are hawking it because there's someone behind pushing them and they're making money off of them. All of these are forms of human trafficking.
Yes.
And many Ugandans don't even know. They're not aware.
That is very true, and that is the most unfortunate and perhaps biggest challenge we have with many forms of human trafficking, it's that it happens in situations that seem to be normal or they have been normalized, and therefore it is hard to identify that this person is actually being exploited, this person is being used against their will. In domestic trafficking, as you've said, we do have a big problem in urban areas in Uganda around street begging.
Right.
Many of us feel very, very touched and concerned by the children who are actually, you know, forced to beg to have a sustenance. But what we don't realize is that for a big number of those children, they are filling quotas. They have supervisors and owners, so to speak, who expect them to hand in what they collect during the day. And should they fail to meet their quotas, then there are repercussions. Now, that is not a person who is begging to have sustenance. That is a person who is actually deployed to earn somebody else's money. Our Children's Act does talk about the rights of children in this country. They have a right to education. Most of these children are of school-going age, and they are not in school. They have no basic needs. They have no proper care. But it is because there is somebody behind who is earning an unbelievable amount in profit that they are using these children and continue to bring more. Sometimes we do see KCCA has done exercises or operations where they have removed children from the streets and taken them to places like Masulita for proper care. But then in a very short time, the streets are filled again. And that is because there is somebody who is earning much more than your average businessman in this town from that kind of business venture.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Very sad. Very sad indeed. If you're just joining in, we are looking at human trafficking and leading it to the World Human Trafficking Day. I do have Monica Katambira Chamazima in studio with me. She is the country director, Willow International. She is also the vice chairperson, Coalition Against Trafficking in Persons, that is in Uganda. But she's not alone. I also do have Memory Rukuna, who is the liaison officer, coordination of prevention of trafficking in persons at the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Now, Memory, let's now get deeper into the types or natures, the different natures of human trafficking. What are they? You've just, of course, explored a bit of domestic that almost every Ugandan has participated in some form or shape. But what are those that Ugandans might not be aware of or might find themselves in case a situation happens?
Thank you so much, our host. There are very many forms of human trafficking. Like my colleague has just said, forced begging on the streets. We have forced labor, forced prostitution. We have engaging in acts of criminality. You've heard of bigari. There's a common term. Most of those are young people. Yes, and they are being used. They have their bosses meeting a quota, like they just said. But we now currently have an emerging trend of online scamming. And with the World Day Against Trafficking in Persons, our theme this year is trapped behind the scam. So Uganda and the world right now at large, it's a digital world. So being a digital world right now, there are some traffickers or perpetrators that are using or taking advantage of the internet to lure young people, especially the young people that are skilled in ICT, in computer science, computer engineering, and so on. They are luring them both here in Uganda and outside Uganda to scam unsuspecting Ugandans. So very many of us have received phone calls, and this is on a local scale. They have received phone calls telling you to change your PIN, to do what. But there are others. We have very many Ugandans in Southeast Asian countries, in Cambodia. We have people in Myanmar, in Thailand, and others are also in Russia and Ukraine. They were lured, they got jobs over the internet, social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, X, and so on. They got lucrative deals for jobs. They applied, and after applying, you know, you apply for a very nice job regarding to your profession, ICT, computer science, but by the time they reach to their destination countries, they find themselves trapped in scam compounds. Scam compounds are big buildings where these big buildings are managed by the natives of those countries where they are taken. Let's say Myanmar, Thailand, and so on. And they bring these young, skilled Ugandans, Africans, and other people of different nationalities. They know that they are skilled. They make them scam unsuspecting people all over the world. Yes, different scams online. Yes.
Right. Now, Monica, when we look at the theme for this year's World Human Trafficking Day, trapped behind the scam, why this theme and what's the detail in there?
As Memory has said, this is something that has emerged in the last couple of years as a big concern in the region and in Uganda especially, because we are seeing it's sort of a new form of exploitation. We are seeing more and more youth of, you know, just finished university, first job in that age group, being lured into jobs abroad, seemingly good jobs abroad. Some of them are, you know, asked if they have computer training, if they have, you know, literacy in terms of speaking, customer care. And so they find themselves in places where they are forced to scam other people using cyber tools, through websites, through dating apps, through... it used to be the story of the Nigerian prince sending you an email and then they say, I have a big fortune, but I need you to send me this amount of money. It has sort of evolved and become refined, and we're seeing very many Ugandans lured into that industry. In the last year, I think we have identified more than 2,000 Ugandans who have been identified in Southeast Asia as being victims of these scam enterprises. And that is why we feel that as a community of organizations and development partners working on the issue of prevention of human trafficking, we need to spotlight this emerging trend, because it is no longer the most vulnerable in the community who will be a target victim. Now even young, seemingly educated, relatively, you know, well-to-do, someone who thinks I cannot be scammed because I have knowledge, I have, I'm at a certain level in life where I think that I'm able to protect myself, but they find themselves in these scam compounds. And once they get there, of course, we still have some of the traditional ways of holding people captive, taking your passport, taking your travel documents, and putting you in a situation where you become an illegal migrant in that country. So most of them live on tourist visas, on the promise that their work papers will be processed once they get there. And then when you get there, your tourist visa expires. Now you are illegal. So they put you in a situation where you can't even easily run to law enforcement in that country because you're already committing crimes. And so that is one of the ways, you know, when you talk about trafficking in persons, human trafficking, we also talk about that synonymously with modern slavery, modern day slavery. And that is what it is. You will rarely see a human being in this day and age bound hands and feet by chains, and they are saying that now you're my slave. But there are things that can be done that put a feeling of bondage over you and you cannot move. And sometimes you ask a victim, but I mean the gate is there, it's open, you even go out the supermarket, but you come back. How is it? It is because they have been bound mentally that they feel like they have no choice but to remain in that situation of bondage. And that is what is happening with very many Ugandans. in Southeast Asia countries of Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar. It is a phenomenon that is, it has sort of, it's a big bubble that is bursting now.
Right.
And we are actually seeing more of those returnees being lured into scam compounds that are beginning to take root even here in our country. And so we need to shine light on that issue and ensure that each and every one of us, community duty bearers, we do our bit in preventing this from taking root. Yeah.
I was about to ask Memory that when a survivor or a victim, at that point before they even realize that they are a victim, crosses to now the other country, is trafficked to the other country, who's responsible for protecting them. But I think what you say now simply also gives a bit of light. I hope, Memory, you're able to broaden the light. But I mean, when someone now crosses and their documentation is taken, they have nothing on them, they're already a criminal in that country. And that means in that country cannot even protect them even if they wanted to, because nothing stands for them to be protected. But Memory, I don't know if there's anything you can broaden to that point.
I can add something. There is what we call victim identification. Yes, there are ways you can identify that actually someone is a victim despite of how they went to the other country. So when someone is identified as a victim, it is the duty of the destination country where that person has gone, or the transit country where they are passing, or the origin, the country of origin. Let's say someone is coming from Uganda and they have passed through Kenya and their destination is Laos for this online scamming that we are talking about. So whichever country that person has been rescued from, that country has a responsibility to do victim identification. There are those processes that someone has to go through. Then the authorities, the other side, because human trafficking is an international issue. So in Uganda, in Kenya, Europe, America, Asia, wherever, there's this issue of human trafficking. And usually, the definition is the same. The types of exploitation are the same. The means, the acts, all of them are the same. So the authorities are aware. So when the authorities are aware, the other side, there are some rights that are universal, whether in Uganda, whether in South Africa, wherever. So when they identify that, in fact, this one is a victim, then it is the duty of the destination country to help out the victim in coordination with the country of origin. So even if the person, the victim's destination is here in Uganda, because we also have victims from other countries who are here in Uganda and they are being trafficked. So when we get them from within here in Uganda, it is the duty of the country here in Uganda to coordinate with the country the other side, such that this victim, that is after victim identification, because there is a difference between a criminal and a victim. Yes, because someone might be brought, being lured to, for other jobs, then they are forced to do criminal acts. But when we identify that they are being forced to do criminal acts, that person becomes a victim. So when we identify that indeed this person has been forced to do whatever they are doing, then the destination country, the transit country, or the country of origin, all of them, they coordinate to make sure that this victim is taken back to their community.
What does the law say? What is the perspective of the law here in Uganda regarding human trafficking?
Of course, we have what we call the Prevention of Trafficking in Persons Act of 2009. So that act, first of all, it criminalizes human trafficking. So by the fact that it criminalizes human trafficking, there are punishments, different acts of human trafficking: child trafficking, aggravated trafficking, attempted. Even if someone attempts, then there are, even if you are acts related to human trafficking, or you fail to give information related to human trafficking, all of those are offenses. Now, these acts states clearly the different offenses related to human trafficking. It also states the different punishments that go hand in hand with those offenses that the Act gives. Now, once again, when it comes to a victim, also this Act protects the victim. Because when someone convinces you that you're being brought from Kabare district to Kampala district to work in a supermarket, and then you find yourself in something that is illegal. Let's say you're being forced to go and rob this vigari and whatever. So it wasn't your doing. You were forced to go and do whatever you're doing. So the Act protects you. The law in Uganda protects victims. But also, as it protects victims, it also punishes the perpetrators. Thank you.
Very profound. That you are watching UBC TV, and we are looking at human trafficking in Uganda. So far, thus far, that the conversation has been stretched. It's indeed, you are now open to the fact that it's very easy for you, elite as you are, to actually be a victim of human trafficking. That's why this conversation is pertinent. So you can ask a question to 0709 602 592. Monica, looking at Uganda's participation and being part of the global village, what is Uganda's role in fighting especially transnational human trafficking?
Well, one of the things that we do acknowledge as people who work in this space is that there is no country that is immune from the problem of human trafficking. Even the most developed countries, even the least developed countries, everybody is facing some sort of challenge around human trafficking. And one of the things that we need to do as global citizens is to collaborate. We have the Palermo Protocol, which essentially builds the global legal framework for prevention of trafficking in persons. And we have obligations as a state, as a member of that protocol, to take steps towards preventing, suppressing, and addressing the issue of human trafficking. One of those is to ensure that our borders are secure. One of those is to ensure that, we create awareness within our communities such that people actually know what trafficking looks like, how it can be prevented, and where to report. So far, we do have the Prevention of Trafficking in Persons law that Memory has talked about. We also have the regulations under that law. We have a National Action Plan and National Referral Mechanism for victims for prevention of human trafficking. And that creates a framework under which we can adequately address that issue. But apart from working within Uganda as a country to address the issue in our country, we need to collaborate with our neighbors to ensure that actually we are doing what we can to support the region. One of the things that we are hoping that we can lead is a regional legal framework on prevention of human trafficking or countering human trafficking. We do collaborate with security and police forces in other countries to ensure that, as Memory has said, the victims who are identified in Uganda, who are not Ugandans, get the support they need to be repatriated back home. And also to collaborate with other countries to receive the victims that are Ugandan that need to come back to the country. And once they come back, what do we do with them? The Ministry of Internal Affairs regulates a number of organizations. I'm vice chair of the Coalition Against Trafficking in Persons, which is the umbrella body for civil society organizations that are working on this issue in the country. And as civil society organizations, we work on a wide spectrum of aspects in prevention of human trafficking under the 4 pillars of protection, prevention, partnership, and prosecution. There are over 30 organizations that are actively working on different aspects here to support government initiatives around the implementation of this framework and policy. Yes.
Right. And looking at Willow's perspectives, what are some of the gaps in policy and law that you think, in a way, leave a door open to the vice continuing, and if closed, it could help a lot?
We do recognize the importance of the need, or the need to migrate, to find greener pastures, to make a life for yourself that brings you dignity and joy and fulfillment for the goals that one has in life. One of the things that we think we could do better as a country is to spotlight the safe ways of migrating for work. We have the Labour Externalization Program under Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, but we think that we need to do more. We need to do more in collaboration with government, such that those who are migrating for work know the proper channels through which they can go for safe, meaningful and dignified labor. Not every job advert that we see is genuine. Not every opportunity actually is there. So many people have been lured into brothels in India, those scams that we're talking about in Southeast Asia. The problem in the GCC is massive. But it is because people who want to make a life for themselves are falling victim to a cartel, a syndicate, or organizations that are actually exploiting the vulnerability, the need to work. Yeah. So that is one thing. Proper awareness, proper migration channels. The issue of traveling for work on a visitor's visa, on a tourism visa, needs to be addressed. And I think that is something that government to government needs to address. And I know that there have been some bilateral arrangements with some countries in the GCC to address these issues. We are very happy to see that you know, countries like Saudi Arabia are doing something about the kafala system that tends to create gaps that can lead to exploitation. As far as the forced scamming or the scam compounds is concerned, we think that really it's awareness. People need to be aware about what is possible, what is unlikely, and what is just really a scam.
Yes.
We've seen messages on our phones, you've won 10 million, but you did not enter any contest.
Lately, they're the common ones of jobs. In the sense of they send you a link and tell you if you want to earn free money, click this. And it's very easy to click because you think, I mean, why not?
Yeah, and that is I think it is coming up as a very huge, I would say, industry in the human trafficking space, because the cyber transactions offer a level of anonymity for the perpetrators that covers them from the law. Somebody could be recruiting Ugandans when they have never stepped in Uganda, and they feel that the Ugandan jurisdiction cannot touch them. So that's another thing that actually we need to work on, is how do we, as countries that are affected by these issues, how do we collaborate to ensure that the law catches up with the perpetrators wherever they are? Because that anonymity is where they get their power. You know that you're recruiting, but you cannot be found easily. Yeah.
Just to stay with you, what can community do? Daily, you know, Muntu Wabulijo, ordinary human being, you and I, who just go about our businesses. What is the call to action that we have to play a role? It might look simple, but it has a huge impact.
Omuntu wa bulijjo, I think, be open to guidance and advice. As a civil society, we do a lot of awareness work, awareness campaigns within communities. And one of the questions we get asked is, you're telling me that job is dangerous, but I'm here, I'm starving. We are not discouraging you from traveling to have, you know, a better life. We are saying, try to think about the realistic nature of the opportunity that you've got. If a domestic worker, okay, granted, a domestic worker will earn more abroad, but the chances of you earning 4 million, it's unlikely. So then perhaps you should pause and think about whether that opportunity is genuine. telling you that you're going to work, let's say, as an English teacher and you're going to earn this amount of money. Think about whether that is a realistic prospect, and then try to ensure that you do your due diligence. It is important to check the employer, check the person that is connecting you to the job. Are there other people who have done this work and are actually thriving? Is there evidence that the job actually exists? Through the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, there is a platform where approved jobs are advertised. That is the ECMIS, EMIS. And that is something that is readily available online.
Right.
Many young people these days will have access to the internet in one form or another, whether they do not have the phone or not. You can go and check whether the job is posted and the process through which that job can be obtained. Somebody who tells you, I have met you today, I'm going to take you to Thailand tomorrow, you're going to earn 5 million. Within a week, you're going to have a job and a salary. It is very, very likely that that person is going to land you into problems.
Right.
So be slow, take your time, do some due diligence, and listen. When people come to educate, take time to listen, pay attention, and learn something.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, our time is fast spent, and we are now at we are beginning the tail end of this conversation. But Tom here says, he's Tom Omongi from Katakwi, who says a lot has been communicated. But just a suggestion, is it allowed them to scam, I think for the scammers to pay you back your money when just in case they are held captive? I don't know how possible that is, Memory. Is it really possible for a scammer, in case held captive and by the law, that is, to pay back that money?
Yes, of course. Now, among the 4 Ps we mentioned, there's prosecution. So if we can't prevent it and something has already happened, so with coordination, whether the scamming is in Uganda or the scamming is outside Uganda, can be prosecution. Almost right now, every country on earth has a law against trafficking in persons, or a police or whatever. At least there is some form of law dealing with human trafficking.
Right.
So when prosecution is well done, of course now the victim can be compensated one way or the other. But the problem usually comes with the process of prosecution.
Right.
Sometimes it is long, sometimes victims think it is a lengthy process, sometimes the perpetrator interferes with the prosecution process. So when prosecution is done completely 100%, the victim of course will get some form of compensation.
Right. Now let's look at the World Human Trafficking Day. When is it, and how can Ugandans participate? Memory, this will go to you.
Thank you so much. Actually, today is July 30th, and from here we are joining our colleagues at Uganda Communication Commission, where we are having the celebrations, they call it the commemoration,
right.
Commemoration of World Day Against Trafficking in Persons, with different stakeholders, ministries, departments, authorities, non-state actors, the media. So today we are highlighting the online scamming. That's why our theme is trapped behind the scam. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Indeed, this we are closing the. Okay. Yes, please. Just 1 second.
Can I just add? We're talking about trapped behind the scam. We're talking about cyber scamming and cyber security. The conversation on prevention against trafficking, World Day Against Trafficking, is on Twitter, X. It's on X,
yes,
it's
indeed.
on Instagram, it's on Facebook. So please, whatever platform you can access, just put in World Day Against Trafficking, put in Coalition Against Trafficking in Persons, COPTIP, Uganda, and you will be plugged into the conversation.
All right. Thank you very much to my guests. Now, we are heading to live conversation. This is the report of the Auditor General of the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development for the audit year for the audit year ended December 2025. presented to the Public Accounts Committee, Central Government right now. Good morning, Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Dear colleagues,